The Office of Naval Intelligence are no strangers to black ink. ONI operatives work under the directive that their missions don't exist, and what little information is made public about the office is just a fraction of what goes on beneath the surface. One such example of which resides within the Spartan Threes, a small group of elite covert Spartans, codenamed Headhunters. To all but a few, the Headhunters were ghosts, their missions classified under the highest of orders. They didn't get the glory the Spartan Twos did. Instead, they lived, fought and died with only the admiration of those few who even knew they existed. Their missions are similar to those of modern-day paratroopers, inserting behind enemy lines, quietly, providing reconnaissance and disrupting enemy forces, except the Headhunters do all of this with a hint of assassin, often provided with the names and coordinates of Covenant HVTs or locations by ONI. These ghosts are sent in order to eliminate the target or inflict as much damage as possible. Regarded to as government-sanctioned sociopaths by some within the team, these Spartans more than earn such a title. The Headhunters were conceived after the worry that losing large groups of Spartans at a time where the war with the Covenant was perceived as a losing battle could turn the perceived into reality. This led to the teams being limited to 2 Spartans in size, codenamed binary squads, with some Headhunters even being sent out on operations alone, codenamed Lone Wolf missions. Spartans were assessed by ONI Beta 5, a highly secretive group within ONI Section 3, responsible for operating the Spartan 3 program. To become Headhunters, the already veteran Spartan 3s had to have survived at least 2 specially assigned training missions, before having their mission reports and entire life records from the day of their birth up until their activities in the last 24 hours scanned. This data was then analysed by ONI's top specialists, who ultimately selected only 17 Spartans out of the 1,200 Spartan 3s to fill 6 two-man teams, with 5 reserves on the side ready to fill in for those that were killed in action. Those numbers are reflective of the requirements to join the team. The selected Spartans were then shipped to a special training facility on Onyx, where they underwent elite training before being paired with another Headhunter, based on evaluations and interviews that aimed to find the most effective pairs of assassins. The Spartans were then outfitted with armour and equipment that best suited their roles, with most of them choosing to wear enhanced SPI armour as opposed to the regular Mjolnir. This armour was more fitted for stealth, a core tenet of the Headhunters, but was superior to the more mainstream SPI suits used by other Spartan 3s. The Headhunters SPI featured energy shields, visor technology, motion trackers, and a prototype active camouflage module developed by the UNSC as opposed to the Covenant, using photoreactive panels instead of the Covenant-used energy field active camouflage units that were typically found in the field. Due to the nature of their operations, the weaponry used by Headhunters tended to be quiet yet lethal. Weapons like the suppressed Magnum, suppressed SMG, and sniper rifles were favoured, with remote detonation charges being used on some sabotage missions. The sad reality of the Headhunters, like most Spartan 3s in fact, was that death during missions wasn't only a possibility, it was a likelihood. The missions they were sent on were suicidal. Failure and death were factored into the outcome, and the only hope was that the Spartans were able to do as much damage as possible before their time came. The identity of most of the Headhunters remains shrouded in ONI mystery. However, we do know the identity of 3 of the 17. Jonah B203, Roland B210, and June A266. Jonah and Roland served as a binary squad of Headhunters, sent to a Covenant-held moon on which they seemed to be digging for a hidden artifact. The 2 were ordered to destroy 6 base camps surrounding the dig site to sabotage the Covenant's plans, and then ultimately pave the way for a full-scale Spartan 3 assault. Jonah was the tactician of the duo, favouring his custom combat knife in close-quarters combat, whereas Roland was the sadistic warrior who took no greater pleasure than that of annihilating the Covenant. Sounds a lot like another Spartan 3 that we know. The duo were relatively successful in completing their objective, but both met their fate, ironically, at the hand of their elite counterparts, the Sangheli's Silent Shadow. This division of elite warriors contained the holiest and deadliest of their kind, sent on assassination and extraction missions for the Prophets, before turning their deadliness on the Brutes during the Great Schism. Now, If you'd like me to do a video on these guys, then let me know in the comments, because they are quite similar to the Headhunters in quite a few ways. Jonah and Roland's abilities, personas, and attitudes demonstrated the exact type of Spartan the Headhunters were made of. Quiet, deadly, confident, and not afraid of death. The only other known Headhunter was June, the same June that served in Noble Team during the Fall of Reach, who made it off the planet and then eventually became a Spartan 4 program recruiter. Like much of his career, June's time as a Headhunter is covered in black ink and top secret stamps, and June himself rarely even speaks of it. Of what little that we do know, June's performance as a Headhunter was exemplary, one of the best. Many of his ops had him serve as a peacekeeper, hunting down and assassinating insurrectionist leaders who continued their terroristic activities after the peace treaties were signed between the UNSC and rebel factions after the first hostile contact with the Covenant. We really need more information on Noble Team, like, really badly. Following humanity's victory in the Human Covenant War and the onset of the Spartan 4 program, the Headhunter program remained active, only still retain a very select list of Spartan 3s and now Spartan 4 operatives who can be called upon to serve as Headhunters. Binary and lone wolf teams still remain the norm, though the program itself has undergone some changes and adjustments. Although most of these changes do remain classified as is the only way, a few details have been revealed, notably armor details. Now, the Spartan 4 Headhunters have their own specific set of Gen 2 armor, Warmaster, armor built specifically for the needs and requirements of Headhunter operations. The armor is built with improved resiliency, mobility, and speed, and the helmet is crafted in such a way that intimidation tactics are opened up to the user. Fear is a consistent element of the Headhunter's new specialized armor sets, and none emanate fear more than Wrath, the Gen 2 recreation of Emil's custom EVA armor. The helmet comes complete with Emil's trademark Kukrai etched skull, now nicknamed Death's Head, that was recreated as accurately as humanly possible. The armor comes as Emil wore it, and started out as an upgrade to the base Mark V suit, before secretly morphing into the beginning of a new Mjolnir variant, crafted to directly satisfy the needs of future Headhunter squads. Seeing as a new Mjolnir variant is being created solely for the Headhunters, I'd say that ONI have plans for them in the near future, and that their numbers are very likely to increase past 2 figures. But no matter how large the number of these ghosts grow, their operations will always factor in certain death, and ONI will ensure their missions always remain under the blackest of ink. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I put quite a lot of work and time into structuring the video differently and presenting the information in a different and sort of more serious and unique way, so I hope that it made for a fun and informative watch. If you want to see me do a similar type of video in the sort of same fashion about the Covenant equivalent of the Headhunters, the Silent Shadow, then be sure to make it known in the comments and also with the likes down below. Thank you very much, guys. As usual, I want to give a big thank you to Ardent, Tomahawk, Taylor, Evan, Locust, Momo, Shikata, Foxy, Mjolnir, Matthew, Pierre, Manu, Jack Madden, Stefan Curcic, Eric Brown, Sam Grafton, Regan Sink, and Bruin98 for their generous support over on Patreon. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.